mate?
Hi Phil, good, thank you.
I know it feels a while ago now, the Southampton game, but just wanted to pick up on that a little bit really, because a hugely important game in terms of where you both were on the table, and also just for your team in terms of the calibre of Southampton and another really impressive 3 points in your development.
Yeah, obviously it was a really important fixture. We're both going kind of for the title as well, so that added a little bit more of a kind of a bite to the game, and I thought we were excellent. I thought we controlled really good moments of the game, and I think in these fixtures in particular against the teams that are up there, there's going to be really small margins. It was a pure moment of brilliance from the team and Mary in particular to get the winning goal.
You talked a lot. Sorry, Ryan. You talked a lot about fine margins last year, and it felt like consistently we were talking about just being on the wrong side of that, and it's kind of been the story of the season, hasn't it? That extra quality in both boxes. You consistently coming on the right side of those fine margins.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk all day long about the players that we brought in the summer, and yes, they've added real good value to the squad, but the squad as a whole is improved and has evolved right from the beginning of the season to where it is now, and we're really pleased with how they've played and the points that we've picked up, and we're in a really good position to finish the season strongly.
Every time we speak, what probably was a little bit of a dream at the start of the season in terms of the title and winning the league, it edges a little bit closer. It's a real possibility for yourself and the players now. Is it something that people are speaking about, or is it just very much a case of concentrating on what's in front of you?
I think internally we're really focused on the next game and not getting carried away with ourselves, because we know it is really close, and I think you see in the fixtures at the weekend, with Charlton losing, and it's fine margins, and we've just got to really focus and give everything on the next game to make sure that we don't slip up and try and take maximum points to make sure that we're in a really good position when there's maybe only 2 games left.
You mentioned obviously about sort of not getting complacent, not slipping up. London City, obviously, they're not having a great season in terms of table, but I suppose this is the time of the season when these teams can actually become very dangerous, because often they've strengthened in the January window, try and get themselves out of trouble, and very clearly they have every bit as much to play for now as you do. So that must be, I guess, a big focus for you and the players, is not underestimating anyone.
Yeah, and I think you just have to go back to the Lewes game, and that was so close to us coming away with absolutely nothing with 3 minutes to go, and us turning it around to win the game. So like you say, there's certainly no easy game. Teams are fighting to stay in the league, or they're fighting to get out of the league, so we have to be at it. We have to bring our best version of a Sunderland team in order to get anything. They've recently appointed a new manager, different style of playing, so really cautious of kind of the approach that we take with the game, because we don't know much about how she's going to set up. So again, we just focus on ourselves and make sure we do what we need to do to come away from London with 3 points.
The club's just announced a new contract, a fairly long-term contract from Natasha. That must be a big boost for you, because as we alluded to earlier in our conversation, she's one of a number of players who've been superb for you this season and injected some real quality, and I think leadership skills is a big thing as well with Natasha, isn't it, into the squad? Yeah,
she was a big summer target, and it took a real lot of work to get it over the line in the summer. So absolutely delighted with her contribution this season for the team. She's pivotal in how we play. She's played probably the most games and the most minutes. I think she's got the most assists out of the whole squad, and she's instrumental in terms of our leadership skills, and absolutely delighted that she's committed her future to us, because she's a really special player.
That blend in midfield's been such a big thing this season, hasn't it? And I feel like maybe for you as a head coach, it's opened up a lot of possibilities in terms of the style of the team and your attacking threat, that you've got players with a goal threat who are really comfortable in possession. And I guess Tashu plays more of a withdrawn role, I guess, than some of the other midfielders, but that blend's been quite transformative for you this year, I feel like.
Yeah, I think all the midfielders are all very different. They complement each other, and like you say, Natasha's a natural defensive midfielder, unlike maybe the other midfielders that we've got, and quite happily sit in there and look after things whilst the other players go and attack. And not many players like that like doing that anymore. So she's instrumental and a really special player for the team.
And for everyone following the club, it's quite exciting for them to see that you're in a position where you can now have this security, where you're handing out longer term contracts to players at this level. And for a head coach as yourself, that must be really encouraging as well when you're planning for the future.
Yeah, we want to future-proof the team, and if we can get deals done early and before the end of the season, it gives us less work to do in the summer, and hopefully it won't be the first one that we get over the line. And we've got a very special group of players who've achieved something really special so far, and we've got 5 games to go. It might be that we're planning for the championship. It could be a possibility that we're preparing for the WSL, and probably both look very different in terms of what we might need to do in the summer. So that's why we just have to take it one game at a time and focus on the short-term target.
How difficult is that for you and the sort of staff above you as well at the club at the moment, in terms of 2 very distinct sort of possibilities of where you could be playing your football next season? Is there a focus on trying to keep a good core in place whatever happens, and then you can look to build sort of from wherever you find yourselves at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's a difficult task, and I think we have to be patient with our processes, because we don't know which path we're going to go down. So keep our cards close to our chest, but a lot of the players are under contract, so we don't need to kind of worry about a lot of them. But yeah, it is difficult. It's difficult for the people above me as well. But again, the results matter. So one game at a time, and as we get down to 4 games, 3 games, we get a little bit closer, and that path might be a little bit more visible depending on which way we need to go.
And just looking ahead a little bit as well, I know your focus is on London City this weekend, but there's obviously the prospect of the Durham game at home the week after, which is really exciting, and then potentially a few games against teams just around you. So in the race for the title, it must feel like a really exciting time. Is there a bit of a buzz around the training ground at the moment with what's ahead of you?
Yeah, I think it's just an exciting time to be a Sunderland player. We're in the title race. We've got a big local derby coming up after London City, which I'm sure will be a sellout in Ebbleton. And like you say, the teams in and amongst us have all got each other to play as well. So I'm sure there's going to be lots of twists and turns before the end of April. So again, it sounds cliche, but we just have to make sure we look after ourselves and we're doing all the right things in order to get points, so we're there when it comes to the end of the season.
Fantastic for the division as well. I feel like sometimes, with only one promotion spot, sometimes there's a danger that, you get towards the end of the season and a lot of teams don't have a great deal to play for. But this year, pretty much every fixture's got something riding on it, which it's good for sort of the league general, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I think last year it was obviously a 2-horse race between Bristol and London City, and to have 5 teams in the mix and not knowing which way it's going to go, and the league table changes every week. It is exciting for people on the outside looking in, and hopefully that generates more interest in the league, and it certainly makes the league a lot more competitive.
Were you hopeful at the start of the year that you could do this, or have these players kind of surprised even you, who knew a lot about them when you were recruiting them and bringing them up?
I think we certainly wanted to be a competitive team in the division. If you asked us at the beginning, are you going to win the league, I wouldn't have said yes. But like I said, this group of players are very special. They've got a real togetherness. They really love playing for the football club. Got some really good coaches. We've got a really good backroom staff who care and look after the squad. And when you get everything aligned, special things can happen.